It's only so long that you can hide the truth before it comes out.
My guy. So today we're going to be talking about if giants are real.
What is this about? Guys, listen. Although this is not real, it's something to think about. People are saying that it's breathing. That's why the bubbles are coming out. Shh. People are saying that's AI. And I think it's true. But why would those statues be down there with chains around them? Not saying that those statues or whatever that is, they're just strong enough to break out those chains, right? But what if that's a special type of chain? What if that's true? What if the giants that people spoke of are down there chained but still alive and waiting for the right time to come out? I mean, let's think about it, guys. Is everything AI? Or was AI meant or made for everyone to think everything is AI? Stop playing with me, son. This video is for entertainment purposes only. And of course, that's AI. That's not real, bro. Shh. Shut up. Something to think about, though. Because how will we know what's down there? We ain't never been down there. We on Earth. We're on ground. We're on a flat Earth. Now I'm just playing about, guys. It's a circle. Stop playing with me, son. It's not a game, right, guys. You know what it is. Shh. Shut up. Listen. But I'll tell you one thing. If I ever go scuba diving, which I never would, and I see statues chained, breathing, I might just stop breathing.
Hi guys, welcome back again to the YouTube channel. It's so good to have you. Thank you so much for clicking when you saw this video. So I came across this video and it actually gave me a very huge thought, right? Because I was just wondering, do you actually think that giants are real? Do you actually think that they live among us, like they are literally here with us, or you think it's just one of those talk that we all hear on social media and it just fizzles away, or one of those AI videos that people actually create and make it look like this person is a real person or not? But this whole giant talk has actually been here for a very long time. But yeah, do you people actually think that giants are real? But let's find out in this remaining videos on today's episode. Okay, so let's take a look at these videos I've gathered for you guys, and I'll come back with more commentary. Credit belongs to original creators of those videos. Please do well to like, subscribe, share, and drop your own take in the comment section if you haven't already. So let's jump right in, then I'll come back with more commentary. Let's go watch.
Now, I ain't even go cap. Yesterday, I was like scared than a mug last night because I did not know if I wanted to actually talk about giants. And I actually posted a story on my TikTok saying, y'all, I don't know, I'm kind of scared to start talking about that situation. Especially after the Andrew Dawson thing that's been going around. So I posted on my story saying, y'all, I'm scared to talk about giants. And then when I went back to go watch my story, it was playing this song.
They watching, they watching, they watching, they sneaking, they watching, they sneaking, they watching.
I was like, heck no, bro. Like, that was a sign, bro. That was a sign for me not to even speak on this. But you know me, this side over here saying, don't speak about it, they gonna get you. And this side over here saying, hey, the truth hurts. You gotta let the people know. So I'm like, I'm back. So let's get right into it. Now, giants are actually real. And what y'all don't know is they sorta alive till this day. They just sleeping in the mountains being rock stone solid. Now, if y'all watched my last video, y'all will see that I said that scientists are actually proving that the Bible is real without even realizing it. The Neanderthal DNA that they have found came from Nephilims. Nephilims came from giants. And giants came from the fallen angels who came down here and mated with the women. Back in the biblical times. Now, in the lost books of the Bible, it talks about giants who are living in the high mountains. Now, if y'all watch the new movie Trolls that came out on Netflix December 1st, it had the mountains awakening into giants, which is actually the truth in plain sight. Every movie that they come out about the mermaids singing to lure men in, movies of giants coming from the mountains, all that is from what they have learned from the Bible. They know that it's actually true. They just want to keep the world from knowing, acting like they just coming up with this stuff. But they know that these things are actually real and true. Like, come on, y'all really just think they just coming up with this stuff? No, it come from somewhere. The Trolls movie is actually sort of something like that. Smelling the blood of a true believer. and coming into contact with the sun, turning them into stone. It talks about how God cast the giants into the ground. It's honestly so sad that people are so in denial and brainwashed that they don't want to believe the truth. They think that it's too far-fetched. Many of the mountains that you guys see today with bodies and faces is not a coincidence. Those are the Nephilims and giants that became petrified during the great flood of Noah. A lot of these mountains are petrified giants. Now, we not finna act like they ain't already said that they discovered bones of giants. Now, back in the 18,000s and 19,000s, farmers dug up large mounds and discovered, apparently, Indian mounds. They came across large, gigantic bones. The skulls that they found had 2 rows of teeth, just like us. President Lincoln also made a speech during his time of living, saying the eyes of that species of extinct giants whose bones filled the mountains of America. There's already been sightings of them in multiple mountains already. In Mexico, Canada, Peru, Costa Rica, and etc.
Thank you for everything. We're aiming for the next big thing. Y'all see you soon on the other side. I'm grateful for.
Person, dude. No, seriously, pull over, pull over.
Now let's be honest for a second. Think with logic. To sit and record a video from that far away and to see a human-like figure walking, that 100% means that whatever is up there has to be gigantic. I mean, enormous, huge. There is no way you could see a regular sized human up there. There's just literally no way. And I'ma speak on Andrew Dawson's situation soon. RIP to him. But I want y'all to know that the cover up on Google Maps right now is crazy. And the cover up they did for him is even crazier. The real question is, what's the purpose of keeping people in the dark? Hiding the civilization of the dark, deep past. Why hide the truth? Why brainwash people to not believe? Why call the truth conspiracy theories? Just because you allowed yourself to be brainwashed? Is it because you don't want people to believe that the Bible is in fact our true history? Like, honestly, if y'all haven't woken up yet, I'm afraid for you. Because as you can see, they're starting to begin to wake up. The Nephilims are definitely starting their awakening process.
Telling us that this is just a statue, y'all, but I beg to differ. Then we all know at one point in time, a lot of these Nephilim giants have been petrified, right? Y'all, the truth really be in plain sight, yo. Now, that's like, even if this wasn't that, let's just say even if this wasn't that, they still paying homage to some type of being, bro. Husky, though. Hold on, I zoomed in on the screenshot, y'all, so you can get the details. Look at his eyes, bro. It looked like he came out of the cave and something happened and he just got stuck like that, yo. Real rap. And look at the how it's covered up behind right there. Things like that exist all across the world, y'all. Some faces be more visible than others. Look at this one. Y'all, the truth literally be in front of us, yo. Y'all, I'm getting back on the Pop On podcast this week, y'all. Make sure y'all turn on y'all notifications for the live, you feel me?
They have just found remains that would have belonged to ancient giants, 7 meters or 22 feet high. The small Ecuadorian village of Changamania holds a secret yet unexplained by scientists in the world, and it has to do with an ancient race of men that outperformed in height and their current average. The finding of giant men in Ecuador has been going on for years. The history of their ancestors is based on documented facts, myths, and even some falsehoods that seem to add another tint to the narrative. One of them took place in Ecuador, where some archaeologists and residents of a small town called Changamania say giant human bones have been recovered. One of the people who would have preserved these bones was the priest Carlos Miguel Vaca Alvadero, born in 1912 in the Ecuadorian city of Loja. The bones, which were in his possession until his death in 1999, were found in a small town called Changamania, located 75 kilometers from Quito. I know this might be hard for some of you to believe, but I'm trying to tell you, giants was real.
No one can tell me that there are not giants still roaming the earth. And to understand that statement, we have to go all the way back to the beginning. And by beginning, I mean like before the flood. If you're new here, we talk a lot about the book of Enoch, which covers the Nephilim, sirens, the angels that rebelled against God. Specifically, we're going to be focusing on Nephilim and why I think that they are still on the earth. The Nephilim, aka the giants, come from when the angels that rebelled against God came down and procreated with mortal women in the days of Noah, thus creating the offspring of a ravenous species of giants that ate up all the resources to feed humans, ended up starting to consume humans, and then started to consume themselves. Sounds a little bit like Attack on Titan, does it not? I digress. Let's keep it pushing. Eventually, God saw that there was so much wickedness in the world that he sent the flood. From what I understand, the Nephilim unalived and became disembodied spirits, part of the demonic realm. The women were cursed to the sea to become sirens. That's crazy, isn't it? I never knew the origin of mermaids or sirens until that. But anyway, the angels were punished as well. But a common question is, okay, so if the giants unalived in the flood, how are there giants still in the Bible like Goliath or Og of Bashan? Y'all know I come with my receipts. This is Genesis, where it says the Nephilim were on the earth in those days and also afterward. I'm assuming he's talking about these giants like Goliath and Og, like I told you. And if you look in Numbers, let's look at Numbers 13, I believe, 33. It says, we saw the Nephilim there, the descendants of Anak come from the Nephilim. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them. So what I'm hearing about that is that Nephilim still existed on the earth. They looked just like humans, but they were in crazy size. So you're telling me that you feel like a grasshopper to them? They had to be huge. I think, me personally, this isn't biblical or anything, but it's the only thing that would make sense to me. What if Noah's sons' wives had Nephilim DNA? And I know that sounds crazy, but y'all gotta understand that these Nephilims and the fallen angels, they were on the earth for a generation, like hundreds of years, I believe. So obviously people are procreating, people are making babies. There could be Nephilim DNA in more people than you would think. Then generations afterward come things like the Amorites or Og of Bashan or Goliath. In the Bible, it says that Og of Bashan was about 13 feet. So obviously it's like ranging. We'll say like 10 to 13 feet to like super large. So there's different types. And to back up the Nephilim DNA theory, I'm going to tell you guys something a little crazy. You guys remember this event in 2001? I can't say the name because TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only. None of it's true. So y'all remember this, and y'all remember the U.S. invading a certain territory in retaliation to that event. What if I were to tell you that it really wasn't for retaliation of that event? It allegedly, it might have been to look for the Nephilim DNA in a certain tomb that they unearthed in the same year, 2003. It's called the Tomb of Gilgamesh. And if you have not heard about the Epic of Gilgamesh, look it up. If y'all want me to make a video on it, I definitely can. You could ask, why would they be looking for DNA if you think Nephilim still roam the earth? I think Nephilim still roam the earth because of them. In the Bible, it says, I believe Og of Bashan, it says that he was the last of the Rephaim. So biblically, they were supposed to be all gone. I believe, and I'm gonna put my tinfoil hat on when I say this, I believe that these things that be happening in these shows like Game of Thrones, I think that's what they actually want to use as weapons of war. If they could get their hands on the DNA of these Nephilim and figure out a way to recreate them like they're doing the direwolf. If you guys have seen Game of Thrones, you know that direwolves are in this show. They just now recreated it, brought it back from extinction and everything. If y'all want a video on that, let me know. So yeah, I low-key feel like the Bible put also afterwards in there because God knew that this would be the case eventually. At some point in time, humans would try to play God for the 8,000th time in a row and mess around and find out. As always, y'all, make sure you like and follow and comment down below.
It was red. The skin was pale, white. He said it had 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot. And the feet were wrapped in a very primitive canvas type wrapping. And he said he and the guys that were standing around the body were actually taking their boots and putting it up to the foot. And he said it was, twice as big as twice, 3 times bigger than everybody's boot. I mean, the feet were enormous. They're all putting their feet up to the foot. And he said this thing was solid as a rock. They were all kind of tapping it on the top. And he said it was like a brick. I mean, this thing was just like solid muscle. He said it could have been some rigor mortis or whatever, but I mean, it was apparent from what you could see of this dude that he was a brick house. So
How tall?
So the pallet was 9 feet
9.
long, and he's in the fetal position. So they estimated his size at 10 to 12 feet tall.
Wow.
They weighed the giant. They weighed this being because they had to weigh it. The load master had to weigh it before they put it on the C-130. The whole thing weighed, I think they told me, and I could be wrong, but I think it was 1,500 pounds. And then when you subtract all the dunnage and the pallet and whatever else, I know that the final weight was 1,100 pounds. The final weight was 11. And then he told me for sure. He said that the weight was, this thing weighed 1,100 pounds. And so you can imagine, let's say it was 12 feet tall, 1,100 pounds. So, I mean, this thing weighs more than like a Kodiak bear.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a massive, massive guy. And then, he was asking about the body, like, where'd you guys get this thing? And they told him that they had heard, they didn't know, they didn't have firsthand knowledge. They heard that a group of guys got lost somewhere out in Afghanistan. That this group was out there. These military guys were out there doing something, recon or something like that, and they weren't reporting back in. So they sent out another group to look for them. Another team went out to look for that first team. And when that second team found them, they found them either at the mouth of a cave or in a cave. I can't remember where, but it was in the vicinity of a cave. And they were all dead. And this gigantic humanoid was
What's crazy is that why, when it comes to giants, it's always associated with caves, even in the Bible. I just find it funny that the cave system, the map of the cave system, and the map of the missing people completely lines up with each other. I don't know about y'all. I think they're living on. I think the Nephilim still exist. I think that they live underground. I mean, have y'all heard about the story of the giant of Kandahar? Long story short, there was an American army unit out in Afghanistan looking for another army unit that had gone missing. They're going through the woods, they're searching, they finally come across like body parts just scattered everywhere in this foul, putrid smell. They end up coming across a cave and seeing a huge, had to be I think like 10-foot tall, red-haired giant come out of there. Funny how it's red-haired. The giants are always for some reason described as red-haired. Same with the Sea-Tek Ka, the race of giants that torture the Paiute people. There's actually documentation of that. But he comes out, they start pew-pewing. He throws a javelin. The giant throws a javelin that ends up piercing one of the soldiers. They end up pew-pewing him down to the ground and find said missing army unit in smithereens, completely eaten up and shredded in the cave. They let their, supervisor, commander, whatever you want to call that, know. The government is contacted and the body is taken away. No one knows where the body is. This all comes from allegedly the pilot that told someone in an interview that this happened. Like he was the one that flew the body off. And even if you think this is a load of malarkey, it very well could be. I still think that giants exist. There have been sightings of them for literally hundreds of years. Even Abraham Lincoln believed that giants exist. As always, make sure you guys like and follow. Comment down below if you want to.
I think at this point, the world is more spiritual than we all actually imagined. It's actually very spiritual. Like, I think my pastor was telling us one time, we're having like a group discussion, then he said that, this life is governed by, spiritual, is 90% spiritual, and just 1% physical. So what we see in physical is nothing compared to the spiritual aspect of the whole thing, right? So there's just a lot happening in the spiritual realm that we all do not actually see or even imagine. So a lot of people, might not believe that giants are real. I still struggle to believe myself because I just keep wondering how were they created? Like, how come those people are real? Did they exist among us? Okay, those days, yeah, I think there were fallen angels, okay, but I still do not grasp the whole definition of the whole fallen angels and the whole thing, okay, because it still doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I don't know if it makes a whole lot of sense to you. Maybe you should break it down for us in the comment section. But for me, I just keep wondering, like, are these people still here? We heard about the fallen angels, people who, those people who were sent to come rescue whatever. I don't even get the whole aspect of the story and how they mingled with men and they were giants and all of those things. But people still believe that some of their proceeds are still here, right? People still believe that some of their family members, some of them, I don't know how to say it, but I think people still believe, just the same way we have like a lot of dwarfism. Some people still believe that giantism is still a thing on earth, and a lot of them still exist. You've seen like the tallest man on earth. There's still a lot of tall people. I think in Congo or in Uganda, there's this very tall guy, very very tall guy. So he became somehow a content creator at the end of the day and all that. Like literally people want to see how tall he is and all of that, right? So I think from there he started featuring online and all of that. Well, there's still a whole lot, right? There's still a whole lot to really literally talk about, when it comes to this whole giant art talk and all of that. I've forgotten the name they call them, but people still believe that their blood still exists. There's still a bloodline. There's still their bloodline here on earth living amongst us. And some of these people that we might actually be seeing, especially online, on TV and all of that, might literally be one of their bloodline that is scattered abroad. Like they're not just in one place, they could be anywhere. Then some people still believe some of them are spiritual beings who dwell somewhere, maybe in the waters, in the bushes, all of those things. People have like different ideology about it. But do you actually still believe that those people live among us? Do you actually believe that this whole thing is actually more spiritual than we all are thinking right now? Okay, let me know what your thoughts are, because I am just here imagining things myself, if truly these people exist or they don't exist. I'm still here thinking about it. I haven't really encountered any. I have not been able to grasp anything that the whole definition. The Bible has a whole lot of verses, and the scripture is so broad that at the end of the day you get confused sometimes, except when you literally sit down and think about it. I have not sat down, read the scripture and try to understand anything about giantism, the tall people, the I've forgotten what they call them. Oh my god. But yeah, I have not been able to sit down to really grasp the whole definition. But yeah, you guys share with me in the comments. For some of you who are highly educated, okay, than the rest of us, please share with us in the comment section who are highly educated in this particular fields. Yeah, so share with us in the comment section. We really want to read and also understand what this whole thing is all about. I really love to learn from you guys, just like we're learning from these creators on today's episode. Well, share your thoughts with me in the comments, and I'll see you all on my next. Thank you so much guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and drop your own take in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you all on my next video. Thank you for watching guys. Bye.